Suspension lubrication is crucial for maintaining the health and performance of your RV for several reasons.
1, 2, get ready to roll. If you're moving with the beat, then you're moving with the flow. Say 3, 4, get ready for more. We ain't come to mess around, we just come to hit the floor, yeah.
Today, we're here with my best friend James. He's been a mechanic for almost 50 years now.
How you doing?
He spent most of his career dealing with high-end suspension systems on luxury automotive brands like Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen, and Maserati, and so on. So he's highly qualified to give us an expert opinion on what we should be doing with our suspensions, what we should be looking for, and what type of grease we should use, and some things to avoid when we're greasing our suspensions. So James, can you over-grease your suspension?
Yeah, you can over-grease it. The grease gun will actually press the grease out of the fitting, and it will create a problem where the dirt is going to attach to it, and it can also make it wear the components out. So you need to not over-grease them, and just watch your grease fitting as it goes through.
So how do I know when I do have a worn out component?
You got bushings that are worn, squeaking items around there, like better bleep that, like Steve Cena shoes. but no, you got they'll either sloppy around or worn, and they'll be squeaking, or you see rust particles on the outside of the bushings or the brackets also.
And I guess when that starts to happen, you might notice a wear pattern on your tires too.
Yeah, your tires will get out of alignment actually, and that is not a big factor, but it'll make it be sloppy. Right. And cause alignments to be off and wear the tires too. So
whenever you get under there and you're putting the grease into the grease fitting, how do you know when you've got enough in there?
Well, when you start doing it, if you've done it for years and years, you'll see a little pop. That's when it starts to ease out and back off. Don't put any more in it. That's it. That's good enough.
So you don't want to see it come out the other end of it a whole lot?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
And I guess then it's best to go ahead and clean all that up so it doesn't attract the dirt and
right.
everything.
Just wipe it off really good, and then and you're good to go.
Okay. And so what kind of grease do you think should we put in these things?
Well, almost all of them are made from Moly products, and they're most of them water based. All of them petroleum for sure. And I just like the type of handles up marine fittings, or marine application, should I say. That they repel the water really well, and they're real tacky, and that's what I use on all my equipment. So
this red tacky grease, that's what I use.
That'll work well also. It can be blue, green, red, different kind of greases, made by different companies.
So how long do you think on an RV should we go between greasing?
On tractors and implements like that, we go every 10 hours, but on your RVs, I would say go every 5,000 to 6,000 miles, 10,000 miles even, and then start looking for awareness and where a bushing may worn or anything like that.
Because I saw online the other day someone was recommended, we should be greasing our RV suspensions every 1,000 miles. I was like, there is no way. I mean, that would make me be having to stop every trip on the side of the road and have to grease my axle.
You couldn't make your trip in that, so no, that's too much.
Okay. All right, and so is there any other things that we should try to do? Like, I guess you're greasing them, and that's going to help protect all the bushings and everything like that, and it'll make them last longer. What's the purpose of greasing?
Well, it's the wear and tear.
Okay.
Wear and tear saves the life of the bushings, so they don't break down. The bushings they're using nowadays are a whole lot better, or you can get aftermarket ones that last better. Mm-hmm. And even though these regular standard bushings, they're lubed well, they will hold up. They won't break down in the heat and the cold, and it just keeps them all from just wearing and squeaking and raising all kind of troubles.
So I've had my camper 4 years now going on, and I've already replaced the brass bushings twice since I've owned it, and because they were worn out. And last summer when I was doing it, I noticed the wet bolts that I was having a hard time getting the grease to go through there, and I was like, what is going on with this? So I took it apart, and that's when I noticed, well, dang it, I already have a worn out bushing again, and the hole coming out of the wet bolts were just too small, and it wouldn't allow me to get the grease out of it. So is that something that we should look for? I went back, and I don't know if it's wrong or not, but I actually drilled a hole in the end of it and filed it down and smoothed it out to enlarge it, and this year it's made quite a bit of a difference when I put the grease in there. It comes right out. So is that a bad thing or a good thing?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I mean, you got to go get the grease in there. Of course, if you get some kind of restriction right there, it's not going in. So, and you get a good maybe change the zerk fitting where it can a little bigger sometimes, and the hole will be the same, but it can put more pressure to it.
And I also saw these things. I picked some up. I haven't used them yet. Last year I was at the Grand Design Rally, and they have these forever bushings, they call them. They're not nylon, but there's some sort of a composite bushing. They're not brass.
Right.
And they tell you you don't have to grease those.
So I don't know. They some of our big highline suspension cars, they came with those. They call them, I don't know if they're Nurlons or whatever they are. They're like a nylon product, but they're real hard. And they say you ain't got to grease them either, but I don't fall behind that. So
Yeah, I was really a little bit questioning about that myself. So
and all the grease is gonna help it anyways, no matter what you do.
So when I got ready to do it this time, I went out and took your advice, and I got one of these new little ends to go on my grease gun, and it snaps on there. That made all the difference in the world.
That's the best $10 you ever spend on that fitting right there too. Don't waste any grease, and you can put the pressure right there, and it goes right in there every time.
It made it a whole lot better. I didn't have to sit there. I could actually clamp it on there
and let go.
Pump it with 2 arms, and I didn't have to. But, and it didn't. Nothing spilt out or anything. It was a little more than $10 though. I think the terrorists might have taken it.
Yeah, they got all sorts of them online, so you can get them for 10, 15, but they're good. They're worth the money.
So anything else would you think we don't need like a pneumatic grease gun or anything like that?
Nah.
Just something
regular old grease gun will be fine. Works as good as anything.
Okay. Well, cool. Anything else you can recommend us doing on the suspension
just
side?
stay in the road and keep her going.
And like you said, you were telling your daughter the other day about it's not so imperative about
what brand
oil or whatever. Just make sure you don't run out of it.
That's right. Make sure you got grease there and you'll be good to go.
All right, well, enough talking. I guess I better get to greasing this thing. Here are the tools I'm going to use. Simple enough. A grease gun, the locking grease gun coupler, and some Staplex red grease. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in here and get an old tablecloth. I've saved this for crawling around under the camper. It keeps me off the ground. The first thing I did here was to wipe off the grease fittings. I neglected to film that part. I'm sorry about that. Well, then I started greasing the top grease fitting. Our camper has tandem axles, and with our suspension system, there are 7 grease fittings per side. After greasing the fittings, make sure you wipe off all the excess grease so it doesn't attract dirt. Now repeat what we just did for the other side. There you have it. A straightforward process that you can do to keep your RV in tip-top shape. Well, cool.
All right.
Well, thanks, James.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, guys.
See y'all.